Carl, I just want to thank you for coming over.
Hey, thanks for having
Really
me.
appreciate you helping me through this process here.
Great. Well, hey, thanks for having me over. And I'm sorry we talked a little bit on the phone. I'm sorry to hear, obviously, about your mom who passed away a couple of years ago. Your dad, now you had to put him into a assisted living place, and so it looks like you want to sell their home now,
Yeah,
correct?
that is the goal here. Yeah, unfortunately, that is kind of how things are going right now. But this is what we got to do. But yeah, I'm here today really for you to tell me like what do I got to do to sell the home
Okay.
today? We're at my
So,
dad's home.
so let's start with number one is this. So your dad owns the home. It's actually in your mother and your father's name. I checked over the deed. So obviously your mother's passed away. I'm assuming you have an official death notice for that you could give to me.
I
Correct?
do, yes,
Okay.
I do have a death
Yeah.
certificate from
Yeah.
my mother.
Right.
And,
Okay. That's good. That we need that.
Right.
Number
So-
two is now your father. You told me he's not capable of signing. So what are we going to do? You need some authority to sell the home for your father. What
Correct.
authority do you have? Do you
So-
have a power of
I
attorney?
do. I have a durable power of attorney.
Oh, good,
So,
great.
yes.
All right, now, so you could give that to me
I
because I'm
can,
going to show
yes,
that
and
to
I
the
can-
title company.
Maybe I can give that to you in the next coming days. Here
Okay,
for sure.
great. Okay, yeah, you can give. When I come back, if we're listed, if I come back with list papers, you can give that. Give me both the death certificate and the durable power of attorney.
Sounds good.
Great, great. So you want to sell?
I do. This is obviously like I have my own place and everything like that with my family and stuff, and this is a little bit. I don't want this to burden us. So yeah, we're looking to sell this place and just kind of get it off our hands.
Okay.
So,
All right. So have you had any thoughts about it?
Honestly, I haven't had too many thoughts. Maybe a little bit, maybe regarding what we would sell it for.
Okay.
And but not too many thoughts other than that. Just
Okay.
just that we need to get it on the market.
Okay.
somehow.
So let's talk a little bit. We'll talk price. Obviously,
Okay.
price is very important to everybody.
Right.
We'll talk price, but first of all, we need to talk about okay, what do we need to do to sell the place?
Right.
All right. So obviously, I walked around, took a quick look at it. When I first got here. So the place. You said your parents lived here for 20 years.
Yes.
Yes.
They've lived here for 20 years, and one thing I can say we don't want to do is we kind of don't want to put too much work, the least amount of money to put into it to get it to sell or in good selling shape. That's what we want to go
And
for.
you know what?
You know.
You're on the right path there. Excuse me. But I always feel that it never pays a lot to put money in to update a house to sell it. Literally, if you pay $100 to update a house, or like the old story, $10,000 to update a house, a kitchen or whatever, you only get about $6,500, 65 cents on a dollar back.
Really? Okay.
So
Right.
never pays to update. So what we need to do is this. So pretty much everything in here is at least 20 years old. And as far as the house goes, the house is 30 years old. Everything in the house is 30 years old that came with the house.
Right.
But all the furniture, all the window treatments, things like that, those are all 20 years old. Carpeting's 20 years old, 30 years old, looks like. So here's the best thing to do. Number one, we literally need to remove everything. Because, 20-year-old furniture and that, who's going to be looking at kids that are younger and that, they don't like furniture and by the way, I know your parents are, older people, you're like, younger.
They want to.
The younger people don't want to see old people's furniture, to be honest.
Exactly.
It's a struggle to say that, but you get what I'm saying.
Looking
right?
older is going to turn more people away. So we want to try to get them to look as young as possible.
So
Right.
the key is this. To sell a house to maximize how much money you're going to put in your pocket, because that's obviously the most important thing, right? How much you're going to put in your pocket when it's all done.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
So here's what I think you should do. We literally need to remove everything in the house.
Okay.
Everything. If you can sell some stuff, fine. If not, but we need it all out of the house. We literally are going to show this house with no furniture in it.
Okay.
All right? And I also want like all the heavy drapes taken off, stuff like that. If you want to leave like the blinds are fine. Blinds are kind of in today and that. But I want all the heavy drapes, all those kind of things out of here.
Okay.
Right? Next is this is what's going to pay off. There is some cost involved, but not bad. Extremely clean houses sell quickly and for more money. So It doesn't cost a lot to, I always say spick and span and Windex, boy, it goes a long ways in our business. So I think the house needs what we call a deep cleaning. Have somebody come in here and clean everything, wash all the windows. I think we need to have the carpet probably professionally cleaned. Now I understand somebody's probably, this carpeting is, let's say, not a color that somebody today, but it looks good. They clean it, they put the lines in it and everything, when they get the carpet cleaners come in. Have the carpet cleaned, have the house deep cleaned, totally cleaned out. I said, your house will then be ready to sell.
Okay.
All right. So
that's something we can take care of for sure.
Based on that, I'm sure you've had some thoughts on pricing, but I'm just going to tell you this. I'm not going to ask you what you think your home is worth yet. I'm going to tell you what I think it's worth. All right, and then we're going to see if that's acceptable to you. All right. So what I did is I brought some comparable sales in here. So we have, by the way, let me start here. Here is your parents' home. It shows the ownership and whatnot, all the legal description, the taxes, how much they're paying for property taxes, the assessments up here, the size of it, the year it was made, and all that. So that kind of gives me a starting point, right? So what I do is I find similar homes to this, and then I try to work ourselves into that to come up with a price for you. We call it comparative market analysis. So I did that. So actually I found 3 homes that are virtually identical to this home. So, and by the way, these homes all sold within the last year. I had to go back a little further than I like to, but they all sold within the last year. And they're all pretty much the same size. Your home has 2,562 square feet. These are all like 2,700. So they're pretty darn close, right?
Right.
So here's what we have. Actually, you're on Country Knoll. Here's one on Country Knoll, and then here's Homestead and Homestead. I don't know if you're familiar, but Homestead's just right over
Just
the
right
block.
a couple blocks away.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's the same complex actually. So anyway, so what we have here is this. We had one that actually sold for $395. We had one that sold for $413 and one for $419. So I was able to go in and look at the photos, the interior photos of the home. These here, the ones for $413 and $419 are pretty nice. They actually had newer kitchens put in at some point. This one here for $319, it needs some work. It's been updated a little bit more than your mother and father's have been updated, right? So that's a little nicer than theirs, but it's not one of these here. And you can see, obviously, there's about $20,000.
So that one's for $395.
$395.
Okay, gotcha.
So now, like I said, this one here has had a few things done. It probably had a kitchen put in maybe 20 years ago. This one, these here, looks like they have kitchens put in like in the last 5 years. Kitchens are the big thing that brings money in. You still have the original kitchen your parents did and stuff. Like I said, everything in the house is original. It's all good. House is good, but somebody's going to spend some money to update.
Right.
So basically, I will be honest with you. Somebody probably needs to spend somewhere, depending on how much they want to splash on this home, to bring it up to one of these, probably somewhere around $50,000 to $75,000.
Okay. Wow,
putting in new kitchens, bathrooms.
Right.
You got 2 baths, you got 2 half baths, you got a kitchen. You got a basement that's finished. That's actually has a wet bar in it and that, but it's all older stuff.
Right. Exactly.
So based on that, if we're looking at somewhere that a really nice one is basically, let's say, $415 to $420. If we start knocking off that, somewhere between 50 and 75, we're probably looking at somewhere around $350 for your parents' home. Okay. I'm sure that's a number you don't want to hear.
A little bit,
but probably that's not a bad number. Based on that, if somebody buys it at $350 and they put in $50,000, they're at $400. That still is probably, in this range here. They pay $475, so they're probably up where these homes are. So the nice thing about that is there's people out there looking for homes like that because they want to fix them up the way they like it.
Okay.
They can buy one of these, not pay the $50 to $75, but you know what? That kitchen isn't exactly the way they like it.
Right.
So they're looking for fixer-uppers, as we refer to them, right?
Right, exactly.
So anyway, I think we're in that range. Can you live at that number?
I have a couple questions. I really like to get around, 370, 375 for it. And I was wondering, don't you think it'd be okay to put it there first to see if we can get some people to bite on that number first? I'm just wondering, what do you think the risks are putting it at
So,
375 to start?
Good question. I get that question all the time. Kind of the old story. Well, hey, I can start up here. I can always lower the price,
Right,
can't I?
exactly. That's what
But if I start down here, I can't raise the price.
Right, exactly.
I get that. So here, our market is obviously very competitive right now. So here's what I have found: homes that are priced at where they should be, what we call a market value, right? If it looks good to the buyers, who, by the way, the buyers are seeing everything. They see, as soon as it hits the market, boom, they're all looking, they're having real estate agents calling them, real estate agents are sending them information in. It hits the market. If it looks very attractive, we're going to get a lot of people in here, because if it looks attractive to you, it's probably going to look attractive to this person, to this person, to this person, this. At 350, it'll look very attractive,
Okay.
right?
Right.
If you put it at 375, it doesn't look as attractive, does it? So here's the story. Let's say at 350, I might get 20 people look at it.
Right.
It looks good. If I put it at 375, I might get 3 or 4 people look at it. So here's the goal always that we strive for. We want to get as many showings as we can, and we want to get more than one person that wants to buy it. You put it at that price, you start getting 3, 4, 5 offers in it. Now they start to bid up against one another.
Okay.
And it probably, I would say this, a home, if you underprice it, the home always sells for what it's worth, because everybody will come in and look at it, and then they'll start bidding against it. It raises the price. Typically, they'll sell for more than what it's worth.
Right.
If you start up here and nobody's looking at it, now, in our market, all the homes that are priced where they should be, they're all selling in less than a week.
Okay.
If your home sits out there for more than a week, what's the buyer thinking? What's wrong with this house?
Something's wrong with the home.
If
Right.
4 to 5 homes in this neighborhood are selling in a week, why is yours not selling in a week? There must be something wrong with it. Now we got to start lowering the price down, don't we? Because nobody's looking at it anymore.
Right.
That initial buzz when a home first hits, if it looks good, it's going to create a lot of buzz. We always say we're going to get a lot of people like it. They're all going to come in and take a look at it. Some of them are going to like it. They're going to write offers. Then they start, the competitive juices start flowing, and they start to overbid. I always said this: there's only one reason in the world why we have auctions. Because people overpay for things in an auction, because you have this guy bidding against this guy, and emotions cut in, and neither one of them wants to lose the bid.
Right.
Same thing on our market. Same thing's happening in our housing right now.
Starting to make a lot more sense. So you think that I would have a better chance of possibly getting 375 if I were to list it somewhere around 350 versus if I started at 375? It's essentially just because you're going to attract more people, the more competition.
Yeah.
Okay. That does make a lot of sense, like with the...
So here's what I believe. You have a better chance of getting 375 if you list it at 350 than you do listing it at 375. Believe it or not.
Okay. So, hey, you have the experience in the industry and stuff, and obviously the way you're seeing these houses go off, and if it's going to sell in a week, that's the goal. You want it to sell in that first week. So I think that's definitely a good point to be made.
So here's what, if you're really, really uncomfortable, I could do anything in the 350s. Well, still basically, if you want to go 355 or 354.9 with something, I'm okay with that. I don't want you to push it past into the 360 number. Okay. So if you're okay with
your
that,
recommendation, why don't we go the 354.9?
I can handle
like that. I like
that's the same thing, and that sounds like there's even a little bit of thought put in there more than 350.
Right.
So, but at 350 was kind of like a good start.
Right,
So I believe this. I think at that number you're going to get more.
Okay.
You probably will. I can't guarantee anything, but I will just tell you based on what's going. Number one, it's going to look like a really good number, because everybody else is going to look at they sold 395, 413, 419. They're going to see this one out here for this price. Now they're going to know, hey, I understand it's not like these. But you know what? I can live with this house for a while. I can fix it up as I'm moving along. Maybe somebody will come in and want to just do it all at once. But it's a lower priced home than the other ones. We're definitely going to get lookers at that price.
Right. Okay.
I think you're going to do well. If you're okay with that,
I am okay with that. Why don't we go ahead and why don't we list this house at 354.9?
Okay.
I think that's a good place to go.
Okay. So here's kind of the next step. So here's what I need you to tell me. Number one, you're going to need to get everything out of here. Okay. Right. And then I don't want you to have somebody come in here. I want them to have it deep cleaned. And if you need some help, I've got some people that can help you with that. And then lastly, I need you to probably call a carpet cleaner. The last thing we'll have done is we'll have the carpet cleaned. As soon as the carpet's going to, and I'll just tell you this, looking at the time right now, if you could get this all done, and I know this is quick, but 10 days, if you get everything out of here in 10 days, 2 weeks, we can get it on the market. I'll call my photographer in. I said the day after the carpet's clean, I'll have a photographer come in. The next day it'll be on the market.
Okay. Well,
If you're good with that.
I am good with that. Yeah.
All right. Then why don't we do this? I'll go ahead. I'll go to my office. I'll get all the paperwork drawn up. I can come by. Are you available? Let's see. Today's Sunday night. How about Tuesday night? Can I come over Tuesday night? We'll sign everything. We'll kind of leave the start date out.
Okay.
All right.
Yep.
We'll list it at 3/54/9. We'll fill in the start date as you find out when your timing is going to be on everything. We'll list that. It's going to be a 4-month listing. All right.
Okay.
I actually have a net sheet over here. So basically, so you know, at 354, if we sell it for that price, this is the number after your expenses you're going to take out. Are you okay with that?
I am.
Okay.
I am. I think that if we listed at 354, like you said, if we didn't get the 375, we probably weren't going to get the 354 if we would have done that. So
You're going to get probably
I think.
354.
Okay. So yeah, I think.
But this, if it's sold at 354, this is just, it's not a guarantee we'll sell for any
Of course,
price.
right.
But that's what you take out of it. So there is expensive to sell, but anyway, knowing that, are you okay? Are you comfortable with that number?
I am comfortable with that. Yep.
Okay, well then good. Let's do this. I'll meet you Tuesday night after work. Should I come over here about 6:30?
That sounds good to me.
Hey, sounds good, John.
Thank you so
Thanks.
much, Carl.
Thanks for having me over. Good seeing you again.
Good seeing you too.